Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Midnight at Miami, starring Patrick Guerrero.
Hello, I'm Patrick Guerrero, and welcome back to Midnight at Miami, your weekly nighttime entertainment for those students who stay awake after their 11:59 deadlines. Tonight, we have an amazing show for you featuring two talented Miami students. First up, we have Scott Gromlich, a junior from Cincinnati. He is the managing director of Miami University's Social Impact Fund, which is overseen by the Center for Social Entrepreneurship. The Social Impact Fund is one of the only of its kind that is led by undergraduate students. With that, let's welcome Scott Gromlich.
Thanks for coming on. Pat.
Absolutely. So let's get started, and could you just tell us a little bit about what the Social Impact Fund is and what you do as the managing director?
For sure. So the Social Impact Fund, it was founded in 2019. It invests up to $50,000 into social enterprises. So think a startup that has some sort of social mission that we can measure. So sustainability, D&I, anything like that.
Cool. So how do you get the funding to invest in these startups?
Yeah, so we look around, we try to fundraise on our own, but a lot of it comes down to wealthy Miami alumni who want to give back, and they really look at our fund as a way to make social impact and also educate students. So we work with the Miami Foundation on kind of advertising to these donors, and once we get the money, it's completely in our fund, and we can do with it everything that we want to do. There's no outside partners that are looking for returns or anything, it's all within the fund.
Okay, and so how do you find the startups that you end up investing in?
Yeah, so we look around. So we invest only in companies that either have an impact within Ohio and or are founded by Miami alumni. So that's kind of a network we can look into, but a lot of it comes down to, we have a partnership with a social accelerator in Cincinnati called Flywheel. So they run cohorts of companies that just kind of need like a boost to their business growth, and so then we work with them, and we usually invest in a bunch of their companies. So two of our portfolio companies actually come from Flywheel.
Okay. So you said that you get the donors give you their money and there's no strings attached. They're not looking for, so is there still a lot of pressure with trying to make that money back? Does that alleviate some of the pressure? Like what's that relationship?
It definitely alleviates some of the pressure. We actually don't look for that much return. We only ask for 2 times return, which industry standard, that's like nothing. Okay. Usually they're looking for like 10 times. So there isn't too much pressure. It's really an educational tool for us to really like work with the money that they give us and try to make the best investments we can. But we do rigorous due diligence. I mean, we spend usually 3 months looking into a company. There's a lot of evaluations based on like revenue projections and kind of how much we fit with the founders. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Gotcha. So where does Miami University step in on this? Is the university involved? Is it like just totally led by you guys? Like how does that work?
Yeah, so it's completely led by students,
okay.
100%. So as managing director, I also have an operations director, portfolio manager, et cetera. We completely manage the entire thing. We do have a faculty advisor, Michelle Stecker. She's in the entrepreneurship department. But the actual like university only really steps in at the end just because they control the money at the end of the day, even though it's in our account. And so we just kind of get it approved by the dean of the business school, and eventually it's all in.
Okay. So how does this club, the Social Impact Fund, how does that align with what you want to do once you graduate? Like how is that preparing you for your eventual career?
Yeah, so I joined my sophomore year, so I've been managing director for a year now. And I had no idea what venture capital was, and I didn't know anything about social impact, investing, anything like that. So it's completely shaped my career choice. I've gotten an internship at Flywheel through it, so I kind of learned more of the social impact side of things. And now I'm kind of moving into internships with venture capital firms. And outside of college, it's really like shaped where I want to go. So someday I would love to be an investor just like I am now. But before then, I really want to work in a startup and kind of like work on the business side of things because it's really cool meeting all these founders. I want to do what they're doing.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you, Scott. We'll be right back after this break.
Awesome.
When you take your car in for an oil change, a good mechanic will also take care of other routine maintenance to make sure your car runs safely and efficiently. Protecting your health isn't much different. When you get a COVID-19 vaccine, it's important to make sure you're also protected from other serious but preventable diseases. It's easy and convenient to get other routine vaccines at the same time as a COVID-19 vaccine. So make sure you ask a healthcare professional about other vaccines you may need to maintain your health.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed. Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Reaching residential areas.
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you.
Great question.
Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with the crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information, or instant payment. Email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up. Ignore them. Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Musical guest, or second guest of musical performance for the evening, Jaisla Rosario Santos.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you for having me.
How are you this evening?
I'm good, I'm good.
Well, go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Of course. So I am a vocal performance major at Miami University. I'm a junior.
Okay.
I have been singing since middle school, so I got into it like early on, but I didn't know that I wanted to focus on opera, which is what my focus is here at Miami. And yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. So you said a vocal performance
Right.
major. So
Right.
like what are your classes like for that?
Right, so they're mostly music classes. I take classes along with the instrumentalists, and then it really divides up with the oral skills classes, which is like ear training, and just classes focused more on the vocalist and just like the body. And since our instrument is like ourselves, that's like the real difference between a vocalist and an instrumentalist. So just being more in tune with yourself. So yeah, just music classes, diction classes, and languages.
So I was about to say, so opera singers oftentimes have to sing in
Right.
different languages. What's that like for you? Do you have to learn other languages?
Right. Yes. So I'm Puerto Rican, so Spanish is my first language.
Okay.
But yeah, we have to sing in German, Italian, French, Spanish, and then newer classical pieces involved other languages. So knowing Spanish has really helped me out with those romantic languages, which I've taken Italian at Miami, and then I focus a lot in German pieces. So yeah, I do have to learn those languages, and we have to study them and know the meaning of what we're singing and all of that.
That's impressive. Do you learn to speak the languages first and then sing, or do you just like start just singing some of those languages?
So we start learning the different pronunciation tools for each of those individual languages. And then within our singing and within the lyrics of our music, not necessarily speaking the language, but being able to sing and be able to pronounce those words correctly is what we focus on mainly.
Very interesting. Very cool. Well, so I know you have your event, The Sounds of Spring 2, coming up on May 7th. Could you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that?
Right. So that event is going to be my friend and I. We're putting on a fundraising recital for a program that we got accepted into this summer at the American Institute of Musical Studies in Ames. It's called Ames, and it's in Graz, Austria. So we are very happy and we're very fortunate to be able to go, but we're fundraising money just to be able to, have some funding over there, plane tickets and all of that stuff. So we're putting that event on. It's going to be May 7th at Oxford Presbyterian.
Awesome. Okay. And when you get to Austria, is that part of a larger, festival of music or what?
So no, this institute is actually just the institute itself.
Okay.
They they haven't been able to have it in person because of COVID. So this is the first year that they're putting it back on the actual institute. And it's just 6 weeks that a bunch of musicians, they have vocalists and pianists and then orchestra members that they have in this institute, and they host them, housing and everything. They provide meals, and it's basically just intense musical studies for 6 weeks.
Oh, that's awesome. That sounds really cool. Well, sweet. Thank you so much, Jaisla. We'll be right back after this break for a special performance.
Awesome. Thank you for
When
having
you
me.
take your car in for an oil change, a good mechanic will also take care of other routine maintenance to make sure your car runs safely and efficiently. Protecting your health isn't much different. When you get a COVID-19 vaccine, it's important to make sure you're also protected from other serious but preventable diseases. It's easy and convenient to get other routine vaccines at the same time as a COVID-19 vaccine. So make sure you ask a healthcare professional about other vaccines you may need to maintain your health.
Prescription drug pricing points to corporate
Freedom of the press is about your right to know.
and Clark sheer athleticism.
It's about your right to be informed.
For the stock market.
Today, there are real threats to press freedom
Is reaching residential areas?
and your right to know about the world around us. We must protect our right to know, no matter what kind of news is important to you.
Great question.
Before it's too late, understand the threats. ProtectPressFreedom.org.
Did you receive a call or message that mentioned Social Security and demanded immediate action? Did the caller know your Social Security number or other personal information and tell you that your Social Security number had been used in connection with a crime? Did you feel worried that your Social Security number might be suspended, your bank account might be frozen or seized, or you could be arrested? That is not the Social Security Administration. Social Security will not threaten you, demand your personal information, or instant payment. Email or text you pictures or documents, or use a real government official's name to gain your trust. Social Security does not accept payments by gift card, prepaid debit card, internet currency, or by mailing cash. Criminals use these forms of payment because they are hard to trace. Do not be fooled. Hang up. Ignore them. Report this criminal activity to the Social Security Administration Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov.
Produced